In a quiet suburban neighborhood, nestled among towering oaks and manicured lawns, stood a house at the end of Maplewood Drive. This house, with its peeling paint and sagging porch, was an anomaly, an echo of a bygone era, a relic that time had forgotten. The locals whispered about it, but few dared to approach. The house had belonged to the Masons for generations, and after a series of unexplained tragedies, it was left abandoned. Each Mason had met an untimely fate, their stories becoming urban legends woven into the fabric of the community. Children would dare each other to venture close, but no one stayed long enough to hear the stories of old. One autumn evening, a young couple, eager for a new beginning, purchased the property. Jamie and Alex were captivated by the house's charm, dismissing the rumors as mere superstition. They dreamed of restoring it to its former glory, imagining laughter and warmth echoing through its halls. As they settled in, however, the house began to reveal its secrets. The first night, a faint whispering floated through the air, like a soft breeze carrying the sighs of forgotten souls. Jamie, thinking it was the wind, brushed it off. But as days turned into weeks, the whispers grew louder, and strange occurrences unfolded. Doors creaked open on their own, shadows danced in the corners of their vision, and the temperature would drop suddenly, leaving a chill that crept under their skin. Yet it was the nights that were the most unnerving. They could hear the soft sound of footsteps overhead, though no one else was there. One evening, drawn by a force they couldn't explain, they climbed the staircase to the attic. The door creaked open, revealing a room untouched by time, filled with old furniture draped in white sheets. In the center stood a dusty mirror, its surface cloudy and cracked. As they approached, Jamie felt an inexplicable urge to look closer. When she peered into the glass, she gasped. Reflected behind her was a figure, a woman in a white dress, her face pale and sorrowful, lips moving as if trying to speak. Alex rushed to Jamie's side, but when he looked into the mirror, the figure vanished. The air thickened with a sense of grief, and the couple fled, heart racing. That night, they researched the Masons, uncovering a tragic history. The woman in the mirror was Eliza Mason, the last of the line. She had vanished mysteriously, and the family had been haunted ever since. They learned that each Mason had succumbed to despair, their spirits entwined with the house, unable to move on. Determined to understand, Jamie and Alex sought out the townsfolk who still remembered the stories. They learned that the house had been a place of joy before it turned dark. Birthdays celebrated, laughter shared, and love once lived. But as sorrow crept in, so did the shadows, suffocating the light. Driven by compassion, the couple returned to the attic, armed with candles and an offering of flowers. They called out to Eliza, asking her to share her pain, to help them understand. As they spoke, the atmosphere shifted. The whispers grew louder, coalescing into a chorus of voices that filled the room, telling tales of love and loss, joy and despair. Suddenly, the mirror glowed, revealing Eliza's figure once more. This time, she smiled. A faint, bittersweet smile, filled with longing. With a trembling hand, Jamie reached toward the glass, and for a brief moment, their fingers touched the surface. A wave of warmth washed over them, and the whispers softened, becoming a gentle lullaby. In that instant, the house transformed. The weight of despair lifted, replaced by a serene stillness. Eliza's spirit, no longer trapped, seemed to find peace. The couple felt a sense of fulfillment, knowing they had bridged the gap between the living and the dead. From that night onward, the whispers became a soft melody, a reminder of the lives once lived within those walls. The house, once a source of fear, became a sanctuary, a place where memories lingered and love continued to thrive. And so, on Maplewood Drive, the echoes of the past were honored, whispering tales of old, intertwining with the laughter of a new generation. The Masons were no longer just ghosts of the past. They were part of a story that would continue to unfold. As the weeks passed, Jamie and Alex settled into their new life, the house now vibrant with laughter and light. They hosted gatherings, filled the rooms with warmth, and embraced the legacy of the Masons. But while the atmosphere had shifted, an underlying current of unease remained, a reminder that not all spirits were ready to rest. One evening, as autumn leaves swirled outside, Jamie felt an inexplicable pull to the attic. She climbed the creaking stairs, drawn once more to the mirror. As she stood before it, she could hear faint whispers, words just out of reach. Eliza's presence felt stronger, as if urging her to uncover more about the family's past. Meanwhile, Alex, busy with renovations downstairs, discovered an old journal tucked away in a hidden compartment of the fireplace. The leather cover was cracked and brittle, but the pages inside were filled with Eliza's elegant script. As he flipped through the entries, he unearthed a love story filled with dreams and heartbreak. Eliza had written about a forbidden romance with a young man from a rival family, an affair that had stirred conflict and tragedy. Their love had been secret, yet deeply passionate, and Eliza's words echoed with a longing that transcended time. But as he continued reading, the tone shifted. Eliza's final entries spoke of despair and fear, her beloved's sudden disappearance shrouded in mystery, and the dark shadows that began to envelop her family. That night, Jamie and Alex sat together with the journal. As they read aloud, the temperature in the room dropped, and the whispering intensified, forming a haunting backdrop to Eliza's tale. They could feel her presence, almost tangible, as if she was guiding them through her memories. "I think we need to find out what happened to her," Jamie said, her voice barely above a whisper. "There's more to this story, something that binds her to the house. It's like she wants us to know." Alex nodded, his mind racing. "If we can uncover the truth, maybe we can help her find peace for good." Determined, they began digging deeper. They visited the local archives, poring over old newspapers and town records. They discovered a series of tragic events surrounding the Mason family, mysterious disappearances, feuds, and whispers of curses that seemed to hang over their lineage like a dark cloud. One afternoon, they stumbled upon a faded photograph of Eliza with a young man, his face strikingly familiar. Beneath the photo was a date, the same day Eliza had written her last entry before vanishing. It dawned on them, this was the same day the rival family had faced tragedy of their own. With each new discovery, the house seemed to respond. The whispers morphed into a low hum, a melodic backdrop that seemed to guide them. The attic was now a sacred space, and each visit felt charged with purpose. One stormy night, while they were tucked in bed, a loud crash echoed from the attic. Heart pounding, they exchanged worried glances and grabbed a flashlight. As they climbed the stairs, the air felt charged with energy, thick and electric. They opened the attic door to find the mirror shattered, shards of glass reflecting the flickering candlelight. "Did you see that?" Jamie gasped, pointing to the remnants of a vision swirling in the shards. A fleeting image of Eliza, her face a mask of anguish, as if she was trapped in a moment of despair. Suddenly, the whispers crescendoed into a cacophony, desperate and pleading. It was as if the spirits of the house were crying out for release, their voices tangled together in a haunting symphony. "Maybe we're close to uncovering the truth," Alex said, trying to keep calm amid the chaos. They gathered the pieces of glass, carefully placing them aside, feeling an urgent need to protect Eliza's story. In the following days, the couple focused their efforts on finding the young man from the photograph. They scoured the town's historical records, seeking any trace of him, determined to piece together the fragmented narrative. The further they delved, the more they sensed an ominous presence in the house, a darker force intertwined with the Masons' legacy, resisting their quest. Then one evening, as they sat together with the journal, Jamie noticed a small inscription on the back cover. A name, Thomas Harrington. A spark ignited within her. "He must have lived nearby. We need to find out more about him," she urged. They soon discovered that Thomas had indeed lived just a few blocks away, and had mysteriously vanished on the same day Eliza did. But the deeper they probed, the more chilling the details became. Rumors of an old family curse, whispers of retribution that had driven both families into despair. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting shadows that danced in the fading light, Jamie felt the whispers grow frantic. It's almost like they're warning us, she said, unease creeping into her voice. What if we're meant to confront this darkness? Alex replied, his brow furrowed with concern. What if we're supposed to face whatever happened? That night, the couple made a pact to discover the truth behind Eliza and Thomas's fate, no matter the cost. As they sealed their resolve, a sudden gust of wind swept through the attic, extinguishing the candles and plunging them into darkness. And in that moment, they heard a voice, clear and sorrowful. Help us! The echoes of the past had awakened, and the couple stood on the precipice of a revelation that could change everything. With the weight of the Masons' tragic history heavy upon them, they braced themselves for the journey ahead, one that would unearth long-buried secrets and confront a darkness that lingered in the very walls of the house. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you liked this story. The air grew thick with tension as Jamie and Alex exchanged glances, both feeling the gravity of Eliza's plea. We have to find out what happened between them, Jamie insisted, her voice steadier than she felt. We owe it to her and to Thomas, too. With renewed determination, they delved into the history of the Harrington family, uncovering tales of tragedy that echoed the Masons. They learned that Thomas had been a gifted artist, known for his vibrant landscapes, but after Eliza's disappearance, he had become a recluse, shunned by the community and haunted by his grief. His final painting, a haunting depiction of a woman in white, standing at the edge of a dark forest, was said to hang in the town hall, a chilling reminder of the couple's tragic fate. On a crisp Saturday morning, armed with their research, Jamie and Alex decided to visit the town hall. As they walked through the streets, the air crackled with anticipation, the vibrant autumn colors contrasting sharply with the dark shadows of the past they were about to confront. Upon reaching the town hall, they found the painting displayed prominently in the main lobby. It depicted a shadowy forest with Eliza standing at its edge, her expression a blend of longing and sorrow. As they stood before it, Jamie felt an overwhelming connection, as if the painting pulsed with energy. Look, Alex said, pointing to a small plaque beneath the painting. It says it was painted the day Eliza disappeared. A shiver ran down Jamie's spine. This was his way of expressing his pain. He never got to say goodbye. She could feel Eliza's spirit lingering, urging them to piece together the fragmented tale. That evening, they returned to the house, the painting still fresh in their minds. They decided to host a séance, hoping to connect with both Eliza and Thomas, to hear their stories firsthand. Jamie lit candles in the attic, creating an intimate circle of flickering light. They sat together, hands joined, their hearts racing with a mix of excitement and fear. Is anyone here with us? Jamie called, her voice steady. The atmosphere thickened, and the whispers returned, swirling around them like a gentle breeze, growing louder and more urgent. Suddenly, the candles flickered violently, and the temperature dropped. The air felt electric, charged with emotion. A soft voice broke through the chaos, almost a whisper. Eliza! Thomas! Tears filled Jamie's eyes as she sensed Eliza's presence enveloping them. We're here to listen, she urged, hoping to convey the compassion she felt. The whispers coalesced into a single voice, clear and melodic. Help us unearth the truth. As the couple focused their energy, visions began to unfold. They saw flashes of a moonlit night, Eliza and Thomas meeting in secret, hearts entwined, but shadows lurking nearby. They witnessed the moment of betrayal, a dark figure watching them from the trees, filled with jealousy and rage. The vision shifted, and they felt Eliza's anguish as she was torn away from Thomas, her cries echoing through the night. Jamie gasped, clutching Alex's hand tightly. It's the rival family, she realized, understanding that the darkness they faced was not just a spectral presence but rooted in a violent past. The whispers transformed into a cacophony of voices, some pleading, some angry. They must know. Eliza's voice emerged again, clearer now. What was lost, what was taken? Driven by the urgency of their connection, Jamie and Alex vowed to reveal the truth behind the tragic night that had forever altered the lives of the Masons and the Harringtons. They decided to confront the descendants of both families, believing that only through acknowledgement could the cycle of despair be broken. Over the following weeks, they sought out the Harringtons, and their investigation led them to an elderly woman named Margaret, the last surviving member of the family. When they visited her, they were met with a mix of curiosity and trepidation. As they shared their findings, Margaret's eyes widened with recognition. "I've heard the stories, but no one spoke of them as you do," she said, her voice trembling. "The truth is buried, hidden by shame and sorrow." With her guidance, Jamie and Alex uncovered a deeper layer of the past, a history of rivalry that had escalated to violence, leading to a fateful night when Eliza was taken, and Thomas had been blamed for her disappearance. But he hadn't been the perpetrator. He was merely a victim of circumstance, caught in the crossfire of an ancient feud. Margaret, overwhelmed with emotion, agreed to help them organize a community gathering to honor Eliza and Thomas, to finally tell their story and acknowledge the pain that had haunted both families for decades. "It's time we faced our past," she said, her voice resolute. "The whispers of the house deserve to be heard." As the date approached, Jamie and Alex felt a surge of hope. They sensed Eliza's presence more than ever, guiding them, urging them forward. But in the back of their minds lingered a sense of foreboding. They couldn't shake the feeling that something darker was still lurking within the walls. On the night of the gathering, the air was electric, charged with anticipation. Neighbors arrived, curious and anxious, filling the house with a blend of excitement and trepidation. As they gathered in the attic, the atmosphere grew heavy with emotion, the walls echoing with the lives that had once thrived there. Margaret began to speak, recounting the history of the Masons and Harringtons, her voice steady yet filled with sorrow. She spoke of love and loss, betrayal and forgiveness. As Jamie and Alex exchanged glances, feeling the weight of Eliza and Thomas's story pressing down on them. But as the evening unfolded, the atmosphere shifted. The whispers began to rise, the energy in the room crackling with tension. Jamie felt a chill run through her as shadows flickered at the edges of her vision, coalescing into a dark form that seemed to loom over them. "Stay strong," Alex whispered, squeezing her hand. "We can't let fear take hold." Margaret's voice wavered as she spoke of the need for healing. But suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the attic door, causing everyone to jump. The room fell silent. All eyes turned toward the source of the noise. The door creaked open slowly, revealing a figure cloaked in darkness. A chill settled over the gathering, and a sense of dread hung in the air. The whispers escalated into a chaotic roar, drowning out the sound of Margaret's voice. "Who dares to speak of the past?" A deep voice rumbled from the shadows, resonating with authority and anger. The spirit of vengeance had awakened, unwilling to let the truth be revealed without a fight. Panic rippled through the crowd as the dark figure advanced, shadows twisting around it like a storm. Jamie and Alex stood firm, their hearts pounding. "We're here to honor Eliza and Thomas," Jamie shouted, her voice steady despite the fear gripping her. But the figure paused, and the whispers fell silent. The tension in the room shifted, the energy coalescing into a singular focus. "You seek to unearth what should remain buried?" it intoned, its voice echoing through the walls. "The truth is a dangerous thing." As the spirit hovered before them, Jamie realized it wasn't just a guardian of the past. It was the embodiment of the pain and anger that had festered for generations. In that moment, she understood. To truly heal, they must confront not only Eliza and Thomas's sorrow, but the very darkness that had held their families captive. With a surge of courage, Jamie stepped forward, locking eyes with the figure. "We acknowledge the pain, but we also embrace the love that was lost. Eliza and Thomas deserve to be remembered, not as victims, but as people who loved deeply." The figure hesitated, uncertainty flickering in its presence. Jamie took a deep breath, her heart racing. "It's time to release the burden of this grief. Let their love be the light that guides us forward." For a moment, silence enveloped the room. The whispers transformed into a soft hum, almost soothing. The figure's form began to waver, caught between worlds, as if considering her words. Can you bear the weight of the truth? It finally asked, its voice now tinged with a hint of sorrow. With Alex by her side, Jamie nodded, resolute. We can. We must. As the gathering held its breath, the dark figure hesitated, then slowly began to dissipate, the shadows lifting to reveal the faces of the past. Eliza and Thomas among them, their expressions softening. In that moment, the air shifted once again, and the whispers transformed into a harmonious chorus, rising up to the rafters and beyond, a celebration of love and loss intertwined. As the room filled with light, Jamie and Alex felt a sense of peace envelop them, knowing that they had begun to unravel the tangled threads of the past. But even as the shadows receded, they understood that the journey was far from over. The house held many more secrets, and the echoes of history still whispered in the walls. With the community united in remembrance, they took their first steps toward healing. Together, ready to face whatever mysteries lay ahead in the ever-whispering walls of Maplewood Drive. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you liked this story. As the room filled with light, Jamie and Alex felt a powerful sense of release. The shadows that had loomed over the house began to fade, replaced by a warmth that wrapped around them like a comforting embrace. Eliza and Thomas stood among the swirling lights, their expressions now serene, as if the burden of their tragic history had finally begun to lift. But even in this moment of clarity, Jamie couldn't shake the feeling that the darkness was not entirely vanquished. The whispers had transformed, yes, but they still echoed through the air, a reminder that not all spirits were ready to let go. The haunting presence lingered, like a shadow waiting for its moment. As the gathering broke into hushed conversations, Margaret approached Jamie and Alex, her eyes glimmering with gratitude. You did something incredible tonight, she said, her voice filled with emotion. But I sense there's still more to be done. The shadows, they won't rest until every truth is revealed. Jamie nodded, the weight of those words sinking in. We need to understand what's left unsaid, what's still haunting this place. The couple decided to return to the attic the next day, feeling drawn to the mirror that had once captured Eliza's essence. They hoped it might offer more insight into the lingering darkness, perhaps even a way to truly free the spirits trapped within. The following afternoon, with the golden light of the setting sun streaming through the attic windows, they stood before the remnants of the shattered mirror. Though broken, it still held an ethereal quality, as if it retained a piece of the past. Do you think it can still show us something? Alex asked, examining the jagged pieces scattered across the floor. I believe it can, Jamie replied, kneeling beside the largest shard. If we can focus on what we need to learn, maybe it will reveal the truth. With hands clasped tightly, they closed their eyes and began to concentrate, their breaths synchronizing as they opened themselves to the energies of the house. The room grew still and the atmosphere thickened, the air charged with potential. As they focused on the mirror, a soft glow began to emanate from within the shards. Slowly, images began to swirl, coalescing into scenes from the past. They saw Eliza and Thomas laughing under a full moon, then the laughter fading as shadows crept closer, dark figures lurking at the edges of their happiness. Suddenly, the image shifted, and they witnessed the confrontation. The dark figure from the painting, anger blazing in its eyes, storming toward them. This ends now, it shouted, the words echoing in Jamie's mind. She realized this was the moment of betrayal, a point where love collided with vengeance. Who is he? Alex whispered, his heart racing as the scene unfolded. Why did he do this? But before they could glean more, the vision shattered like glass, the images twisting into chaos. The whispers grew frantic, and Jamie felt a sharp chill race through her. It's too much, she gasped. We need to break through the noise. With a surge of determination, Jamie concentrated harder, willing the mirror to show them what had been lost, what needed to be understood. The swirling colors stabilized, revealing a figure who stood in the shadows, face obscured, but the familiar outline sent a chill down Jamie's spine. Please, Jamie called out, desperation seeping into her voice. Show us the truth. In response, the image sharpened, and the figure stepped into the light. Jamie's breath caught in her throat. It was a man from the town's history, a descendant of the Harringtons, filled with rage and jealousy. "Marcus Harrington," Alex murmured, recognizing the name from their research. He was Thomas's rival, the one who couldn't bear to see Eliza with him. The vision intensified, revealing a scene of confrontation. A heated argument between Thomas and Marcus under the moonlight. Jamie felt the energy shift. The atmosphere crackled with tension. "Thomas, you can't have her," Marcus shouted. Fury etched across his face. "You'll ruin everything." Then came a sudden flash. A struggle, a cry, and the unmistakable sound of something heavy crashing to the ground. Jamie's heart raced as she understood. This was the moment when everything spiraled out of control. A fateful confrontation that had sealed Eliza's fate. But the image shifted once more, and suddenly Jamie was not just a spectator. She felt the emotions flooding in, Eliza's heartbreak, the crushing weight of betrayal. The house resonated with her sorrow, amplifying the intensity of her pain. "Stop!" Jamie shouted, overwhelmed by the raw emotions surrounding her. "You don't have to keep reliving this." In an instant, the mirror responded, the images swirling again, this time showing a hidden truth. They saw a secret passage beneath the house, one that had been used for generations, a way to escape the turmoil of the world above. Jamie and Alex exchanged glances, realizing that this was how Eliza had been taken, hidden away from the world. The vision shifted yet again, and they saw Marcus standing over a darkened entrance, his expression conflicted. "I didn't mean for this to happen," he muttered, but the guilt was buried beneath layers of pride and rage. "Marcus, you need to let go," Jamie called out, her voice breaking through the chaos. "This isn't just about you. Eliza and Thomas deserve peace." The air thickened, and Jamie felt the ground shift beneath her. The whispers grew louder, pleading, begging for resolution. The shadows twisted, and the dark figure from before re-emerged, this time as Marcus himself. A spirit trapped in his own anger, unwilling to confront the consequences of his actions. "Your pride has cost us everything." Eliza's voice rang out, ethereal yet powerful. "It's time to acknowledge your part in this." Jamie and Alex felt the room vibrate with emotion, the spirits of the past converging, their histories intertwining. The air was thick with tension, a confrontation between love and loss, vengeance and forgiveness. "Will you finally face the truth?" Jamie urged Marcus, the shadows around him swirling in disarray. "Will you let Eliza and Thomas go?" For a moment, silence enveloped them. The shadows flickered, the tension palpable as Marcus's expression shifted, a glimmer of remorse breaking through the darkness. With every ounce of courage, Jamie reached out, not just to Marcus, but to all the spirits trapped within the walls. "You don't have to be defined by this pain. It's time to move forward." As the words hung in the air, a wave of energy surged through the attic, the whispers coalescing into a harmonious chorus. Light enveloped them, illuminating the shadows and drawing forth the essence of Eliza and Thomas, their spirits radiating love and hope. The figure of Marcus wavered, the dark clouds around him beginning to dissipate. I'm sorry," he whispered, the weight of years pressing down on him. "I didn't mean to destroy your love." In that moment, Jamie felt a shift, a release. The dark figure began to fade, as if unburdened by the acknowledgement of his actions. The whispers transformed into a gentle melody, soothing and cathartic, wrapping around them like a warm embrace. "Let them go, Marcus," Jamie said softly, her heart swelling with compassion. "Set them free." With those words, the shadows receded, leaving only the light of love and understanding. The spirits of Eliza and Thomas glowed brighter, their features softening with gratitude. "Thank you," Eliza's voice resonated, filled with peace. "You have given us the freedom we longed for." As the light enveloped the attic, Jamie and Alex held their breath, feeling the weight of history lift. They watched as the spirits of Eliza and Thomas ascended, their forms intertwining like ribbons of light, merging into a brilliant glow that illuminated the entire room. With a final, resonating whisper, the shadows dissipated entirely, leaving only silence in their wake. The mirror's shards shimmered softly, reflecting the warmth of the moment. As the couple stood in awe, a profound sense of calm settled over the house. The whispers had transformed, no longer cries of anguish, but gentle reminders of love and resilience. Jamie turned to Alex, her eyes wide with wonder. "We did it. We helped them find peace." But even as they celebrated, a new realization began to dawn. The house, now liberated from its tragic history, still held countless stories. Stories of the lives intertwined with the Masons and Harringtons, echoes waiting to be honored. "We've opened the door to the past," Alex said, a glimmer of excitement in his eyes. "And there's so much more to uncover." With hearts full of purpose, they knew their journey was only just beginning. The walls of Maplewood Drive were no longer just a haunting memory. They were a living tapestry of love, loss, and the promise of new beginnings. As they descended the attic stairs, the sunlight poured in, casting a warm glow over the house. Jamie and Alex exchanged smiles, ready to embrace whatever mysteries awaited them next, knowing that the whispers would guide them forward into the light. With Eliza and Thomas finally at peace, Jamie and Alex embraced their new role as stewards of the house's history. They organized community events, sharing the stories of both families to honor their legacies and heal old wounds. As the weeks turned into months, the house flourished with life, becoming a gathering place for neighbors to connect, share stories, and celebrate love over loss. The whispers transformed into laughter, filling the halls with a sense of warmth and belonging. One evening, while organizing a town gathering in the attic, Jamie discovered a hidden compartment beneath the floorboards filled with letters and photographs. Each piece told a story of joy, sorrow, and resilience, connecting the past to the present. Realizing the importance of these memories, Jamie and Alex created a dedicated space in the house, a small museum to honor the Masons and Harringtons, inviting future generations to learn from their history. As they stood together in the attic, surrounded by the stories of those who had come before, Jamie felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. "We've turned this place into something beautiful," she said, glancing at Alex. He smiled, his eyes reflecting the warmth of the light around them. "And it all started with a love that refused to be forgotten." In that moment, they knew the whispers of Maplewood Drive had transformed into a harmonious song, a testament to the enduring power of love, healing, and the unbreakable bonds of community. Together, they would ensure the stories continued to be told, echoing through the walls for generations to come. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you liked this story.